Hey, everybody. I am so excited to be here with my two dear friends, Kate from Finding Cooper's Voice, Adrian, Tales of an Educated Debutante, to talk about our new book, Autism Out Loud, coming out shortly. And we are here with Premier Collectibles to announce that you can have 15% off an autographed copy today only with the code LOUD15. When we decided on the title, you guys, did we ever expect the word loud to show up so many times in our life?
But quite fitting.
Quite fitting. Signedoutloud.com, and you plug in loud 15 to get 15% off. And what I love about this is every book sold, $5 is donated to Autism Speaks. So go order yours today.
Awesome. Okay, we're going to take you through some questions with the three of us so you can get to know us more. Let's just start with introductions. I will go first. I'm Kate from Finding Cooper's Voice. I live in Minnesota. I have 4 kids. My oldest, Cooper, is who I share the most about, and our journey with his autism, apraxia, and all the fun parts in between. What else? I've written another book. It's called Forever Boy. Never thought I'd read one book, and now we're about to have 2. I just said that this morning to my husband. I'm like, 2. And I just really share regularly. So I'd love if you came and gave me a follow. Carrie, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I am Carrie Cariello. My husband Joe and I have 5 kids. They range in ages right now from just about 22 to 16. Our second son, Jack, is diagnosed with autism, and he is 20 years old. And I'm really passionate about sharing our part of the story when it comes to life after high school and what happens when autism grows up and these kids turn into young adults and where we go from building steps towards independence. It's a really important message to me, and I think it's something that a lot of people are very interested in. This is my 3rd book. I have What Color is Monday, which is the little book that sort of has a little life of its own. My most recent memoir is Half My Sky, a series of letters to everybody in my world, which I love. And then this collaboration has just kind of meant the world to me, to be able to work together with both of you and collaborate and bring our stories to life has been just an endearing process. Go ahead, Adrian.
Yeah, good morning, or not morning. Hi, I'm Adrian of Adrian of Tales of an Educated Debutante. I have the youngest person with autism. I also have a gaggle of children. My husband and I have 4, and our littlest, Amos, is 11 and has autism and a genetic disorder, and live in pretty small rural eastern North Carolina. And I'm just super proud of this book. I keep saying to people, like, it's really good. And I know they're thinking, like, that sounds crazy. And I know it sounds crazy, but I totally genuinely mean that. And y'all wrote other books. This is my first and maybe last book. So I'm all in.
Okay, so we're going to go through some questions and tell you all about this book, how it became, its purpose, our hopes for it. But remember, if you would like to get that signed copy and the 15% off, you go to signedoutloud.com and use the code LOUD15. Yay, yay. Okay, so let's start with you. What do you want your readers to take away after reading this book?
Well, I think the universal message that's woven throughout this whole entire book is to remind yourself as a reader, as a mom, whoever you are, you're not alone in this. You know, Jack was diagnosed almost 20 years ago, and I didn't know anybody whose family looked like ours. I truly didn't know anybody who was raising a special needs kiddo, and it was incredibly isolating. And this was before online communities really sort of took a foothold. So I longed for the old mom, the old mom that could tell me what puberty was like, what the journey for medication was like, what it would do to marriage. And I am the old mom now. And so I feel responsible to kind of share our ups and downs with everybody who's on this journey with us.
Adrian?
Yeah, I think that I was thinking the same thing, Carrie, is just so you don't feel alone. I think there's this question of like, well, maybe autism isn't in my family. Why would I get this book? Well, you're out in the community. Yesterday, I was telling a woman I met, I said, it's for you so that when you're sitting here at a restaurant, you see the person rolling under the table, you are kind and maybe smile at the mother. So I really want it to build our community to include everybody.
Mm-hmm. And for me, ditto to everything that you just said, but did either of you long for a crystal ball? So I'm telling you, like, I would lay in bed and be like, God, just show me 5 seconds. Show me 5 seconds of us when he's 16 or 20. So I know we're okay. That was kind of my term. Like, are we going to be okay? How can this be okay? And I think this book really takes the reader on that journey to us being okay. We have wonderful lives with these amazing kids and we're navigating these hard parts, but it really just shows the journey that we went on to be okay. I mean, for me, it's as simple as that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that. Like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be
Yeah.
messy. It's going to be hard. It's going to be triumphant and rewarding. But at the end of the day, everybody's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we keep hearing that 3 authors working together is not common and it can be a tricky process. So what was your favorite part of the writing process, Carrie and Adrian, and what was the hardest part?
For me, I loved how the genesis of the book just came from a meeting exactly like this. So, the backstory is we met every Monday morning and literally sat down with a pen and paper and was like, what do we want the chapters to be?
Yeah,
What do we
literally.
have to make sure that we cover? Like, it originated from us. Nobody told us what to include. Once it got to the editor, they massage it obviously and tell you, like, add this or maybe explain more of that. But the content of this book is all ours. It's from our minds and our hearts. And I simply love that. The way we brought it to life still sort of feels really magical to me.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a hard part?
The hard part, well, collaboration is always tricky. And I think it's fair to say, and our audiences say the very same thing, part of the beauty of this book is how different we are. But part of the, that always adds to sort of challenge when you're collaborating. We're very different mothers, we're very different writers, and we're just very different women.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Adrian, how about you? What was your first time writing a book? Was it what you imagined? Don't hold back.
I would just like to point out, and this might not be the appropriate venue for this, but they tricked me into writing this book.
Goodness, you're going to love it. It's going to be great.
They were like getting together and conspiring. Like, Carrie said, Kate, you call
one
her.
phone call.
She'll listen more to you. I mean, and then they were like going to ask somebody else. They thought that might be like a hole in the something.
Ace in the hole.
It was really hard. Like, I don't know why people write books. It was really hard. I mean, you can't get anything else done. You're doing this writing. And for what we do as a career, we write. So suddenly you're using up all your content for this book. And then, Carrie, you're still pretty good at it. But I'm like, well, I don't even know what I can talk about. I've used up all my creativity, today. I really did enjoy it. I think I enjoy it so much because it's the 3 of us. I really feel like you're getting 3 books in one, because it kind of makes you realize one perspective is one perspective. And so I can't imagine it being nearly as good if it was just one of us writing it.
Mm-hmm.
There was some chapter that was really hard for me. I struggle with deadlines, and it was hard.
Education. Was it education?
It was one of them. I basically had to just throw the whole thing out and start over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like you're looking at this mountain thinking like, oh, it's icy and I got to hike up it and I'm going to take 2 steps and fall down 10. Yeah, it was a lot.
Writing is humbling. So, and what I mean by that is you could submit this like beautiful thing and they could be like, that is garbage. I mean, you were holding your breath when you press send on these chapters. That's how I always felt. Like, I remember thinking truthfully, like, what if mine's the worst? I mean, I was so nervous. And then mine often would come back with the most red ink. I can fully admit that. I need a heavy edit. I have no problem with that, admitting that. I like what I love about a book that I didn't think that I would love before I wrote one is when you blog, you're just getting snippets of our story. And so the best part about a book is reading it from start to, current or start to finish. And I think that's my favorite part. After I got Forever Boy in the mail, I poured myself a glass of wine and read the whole thing and just cried at this boy's story. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, so similar with this one. Hardest part, I always say the hardest part is selling books. The hardest part is selling books. It's and I'm so glad that three of us are together because it's more fun that we can do it together. Is there something in the book that will likely surprise readers? Anyone have something on that?
I think we balance some joyful parts of the book with some really raw parts of the book.
Agreed.
And I think it will surprise readers. I have a lot of my audience reach out to me to say, I don't have anybody in my world with autism that I know of, but I still see so much of myself inside your story. So I think it'll be a wide range of readers that are surprised that we really have some universal themes. Grief for a life that's unexpected, marital discord and how to work your way out of that, and often wondering what the future looks like. These are some of the chapters I'm really naming here. And I think people can grab onto any of that content and feel it for themselves.
I think that, and people look at us now and see us laughing and smiling. And I think this really dives into our hardest moments, hearing Autism Out Loud for the first time with our kids, crying at the park. I mean, each of us probably has a story of crying at a park. It's like the most cutthroat part of childhood when you realize your child's different and you're standing at the base of the slide. I think there's so many universal stories, but we really did have a lot of hard times, and they're here. We're not gonna sugarcoat them. We're gonna be honest. Adrian, did you have anything?
I like too, though, that it's, Carrie, when you were saying the unexpected life, the grief, I think it's also the joy, right? We're sharing like, boy, this is not the path that I charted out for myself. And I really had a path. I mean, I was charted. But boy, I wouldn't trade this life for anybody else's. And I think the other thing that will surprise people is that our chapters, it's not just musings and lovely prose. This is how to handle anxiety. These are, I mean, we're really pulling in research and all sorts of things, I think, that are very practical and things that I wish I had known. There are things that we learned from years of going to different physicians. So we've kind of made it easy, I hope, for some families to know how to navigate education or anxiety, things like that.
I agree. What are some of the biggest misconceptions about autism?
Oh, I mean, there's always that saying, when you see one person with autism, you see one person with autism. And I think what's beautiful about Autism Out Loud is that there are three very different profiles in this book. And the three of us had to have some, I think some raw, vulnerable conversations about, Jack is what people refer to as high functioning. And I really wanted to present that in a book that was respectful of the other two profiles that you are bringing to the table. So I think that for me really resonated, and it's just such an interesting look at how much it varies.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and so that's perfect, because I have people that say to me weekly in comments something like, severe autism, that's so sad, or that poor boy, that is so sad. You won't read this story and think that Cooper has a sad life. I mean, our kids have the best lives. I always say that. So there's a lot of misconceptions around autism, that it's always hard or always sad, or, or it's a superpower, or it's, a gift. I mean, I think we really dive into these topics in just, a really genuine, honest way.
When Amos was little, I don't hear it. I don't hear it now, but there was always this like little voice of these people that would be like, well, you don't know what it'll be like in a couple years. And it was like,
Still.
this magic was going to happen and he wasn't going to be autistic anymore. And I do think there are people that are like, well, he was autistic, but now he's at Harvard. He's my doctor. And I mean, it's like, I don't hear that as much now, but I think this misconception that it's just going to vanish, like it's, you know, it is a thing and it's permanent. So anyway.
I get often, you don't know that he's not going to get married and have kids. And I'm like, yes, I do. There's not many things that I know, but I know that one. And that's okay. And that's the second part of it. That's okay.
That's okay. Like I always say, a life lived differently is not a life less lived.
It's not.
No.
Yeah.
No. But we dive into that in the book too. What we thought that life
we have a
was supposed
success
to.
chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can society be more accepting and accommodating of our people?
They should start by buying this book
And learning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I agree. What a great one. I always say this thing that just believe me if I tell you that we can't do something or we can't go. When Cooper was younger, I felt like I had to have all these reasons. Like, we can't go to this event because it's going to be too loud. There's not a fence. They have a dog. You know, I could list 100 things. The campground's too crowded. And I feel like I had to always get people to believe me. And now that Cooper's 14, I'm like, yeah, we can't do that. We'd love to. We could do this instead. You know, I don't feel like I need to convince them anymore.
Yeah.
It just is. Yeah.
And
I
don't
think
you
for me,
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
I think for me, you know, my son Jack is 6'5" tall, and he interfaces with the world without me now. He's in a supported community and a college program. And so I always write, like, if you see a 6'5" inch young man walking around who's sort of moving a little differently, perhaps doesn't respond to you right away, you know, just pause. Just pause for a moment and take that in and give him the room he needs.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was just going to say, just listen, because I think our nature is to fix things. And you read this book and you might say, okay, I have a perspective of what's happening. So when the person says, I can't go to the party or whatever, you're just like, okay, well, we'll see on Thursday. You know, like, you don't have to say, well, have you thought about, like, I have thought about everything 490,000 times. Trust me. And, you know, I always say, because Amos is the youngest of four, I did this 3 times. Like, you know, I thought I was an amazing parent. And then Amos showed up and I realized, holy cow, like, this is not making my game look good, you know? So anyway.
I always laugh. Have you tried melatonin? Like, that is like the most common, like, trust me, I've tried everything. Like, I think, yeah, I sometimes get angry when people make suggestions and I have to remember they're just coming into my story at this point. But trust me, I've tried everything.
Or when they're like, well, what we did was we just said, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. Have you tried telling them no? That's my favorite.
I'm like, yes. And then a television got pinged by a remote. Yeah.
Yeah. What are the most common challenges autistic individuals face in school or the workplace? It's kind of Carrie, do you have any with work?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so my son Jack right now is a dishwasher at a small Italian restaurant where he lives, and he's done that type of work before. And every work experience he's had has been really, really successful, luckily. But I just would encourage employers, anybody watching this who runs a business or hires people, to sort of meet them where they are and to not underestimate how much training might go into making somebody like Jack successful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are agencies like vocational rehabilitation for every state that will come in and assist you with communication and making sure everybody's on board with what needs to be done. And so I love when people hire young adults like Jack, but also there is a fair amount of effort involved.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do a lot of speaking we're not at the work part yet, but I do a lot of speaking to educators. It's my favorite presentation to give because I think at the base of education with Cooper, it's challenging for him, and I just want it to be fun and enjoyable. And there's so many parts that go into just getting him in the door. I think people don't realize that, you know, we once had an IEP meeting with 16 people around the table to determine if Cooper could even go there. And so we really dive into education in this book. We have a phenomenal chapter coming at it from all angles. I speak to the teachers. I think what was your education angles on? I speak directly to the teachers, what we need as parents.
Yeah, mine really goes back to Jack was referred out of district during adolescence in 6th grade. And I really wanted to connect in this way with a mom out there or a dad out there who's in the storms of puberty and encourage them not to tie their own moral compass with the behaviors that their kiddo is now exhibiting, because we did that. I thought I was a bad mother. What's wrong with me that my kid is hitting and swearing and clearing classrooms? And I had so much shame around it. And I would just encourage any parent in the midst of that storm to let go of the shame. It really has nothing to do with you.
And I really delve into kind of the history of education and what the law is for education. I'm a little bit different than Kate and Carrie in that I live in a town of 5,000 and we have one school. We have an elementary school, a middle school, and a high school. And there's a little private school, but Amos, couldn't go there. So unless we move, we have to make what we have work. And I think there are probably a lot of people out there like that. Again, there's a lot of people that might need to go out of district. Kate has 100 different choices. So it's kind of interesting to see how different states and communities can be so different. What I find is hard, and we've had a rough spell lately of getting out of the car into the school. And one of Amos's teachers, who I love, said, I don't know what to do, because if he's not doing his work, he's not getting good grades. And we're still kind of on this traditional trajectory of curriculum. And she was looking to me to tell her. And I said, I don't know. That's such a hard part. And I think the way that the IEP meeting is set up is that you're the expert. And it's such a load of crap. I mean, it's just not true. Like, I don't know. And I want the school to know that I don't know. I want to try, but I don't know.
I completely agree. Let's do a few more questions and then we'll do this rapid fire segment. So this question kind of makes me chuckle. What's your favorite part of motherhood? We're all
bedtime.
But yeah. What's your favorite part of motherhood?
Well,
Kate, what's yours? Yours might be things happening on your couch.
Oh, we've had sick kids, just all ends. Yeah. So new couch. I mean, why did I choose cream? I mean,
well, I have the oldest kids. So I have 3 that don't live here anymore out of the 5. And I really, really am continuing to adjust to this new season of an emptier house. And next year, my daughter will leave again. So we'll be down to just 1 at home. And teenagers get a very bad rap for a lot of reasons, and they are very messy and they have their, issues. But I love a teenager. I think they have great points of view. I think they're curious and interesting, and watching them begin to blossom and realize who they are is just kind of breathtaking to me. So I would have to say teenagers. I mean, I loved a newborn and a toddler too, but I'm really, really enjoying having a little bit older kids.
What's funny? I remember someone saying to me that every stage of development was their favorite. You hear that from mothers that have older kids. It was always hard for me to believe that, because I'm telling you now that Sawyer's 12, he's really fun. He's almost like a buddy at times. Yeah.
I think my favorite part is my children's relationship. That is just probably the one part of my life that I really wanted to happen. And I write about in the book, I lost my only sibling, my older brother, to cancer when I was 15. And he was 19. And now I have 11, 15, 17, and 19-year-olds. And seeing my daughter and my 19-year-old son, I'm flooded with these memories of adoring this older brother. And we just had this wonderful relationship, and it ended. And watching them move together as a group is just the biggest joy to me.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. And we do get into siblings quite a bit in Autism Out Loud. That's a whole chapter separate from the autism family and marriage piece,
Right.
because it's one of the top questions I'm asked is, how do your kids get along? So
And I was thinking, how did we decide that? Because if you looked on the outside, you would be like, why is there a family chapter and a sibling chapter?
Mhm.
Now I can't remember.
I just think because we have so many kids, and it is this, it deserved its own space in the
Right.
book.
Right.
That's how I remember it.
So in the sibling chapter, I really write about our decision to have more kids. And the sentiment that said to me often, well, at least you have other kids, as if that can one child ease the sting of having a child who doesn't talk. And I really tread lightly, because yes, it can, but it doesn't mean I don't want Cooper to talk. I mean, it doesn't take it all away. And then our family chapter is how we move through the world. Because I actually was just thinking about this morning, spring break. I would love to bring my kids to the Science Museum today, but I can't, because I can't bring Cooper and other kids. So how do we keep living this life? So they're really quite different, the sibling and the family chapter. Yeah. What would be your encouragement to parents today?
That's a great question. For me, I just circle back to, just remember at the end of the day, it's all going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I had a mom, I totally forgot about this. And she reached out to me very early in my journey, and her son was maybe in his 40s. And she said, it will get easier and it will always hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like two things can live in one space, like your family is, you're going to have this family. I mean, you're right here. You're going to maybe not be the family you thought, but there are always going to be these tinges of everybody's, going to play baseball and trying to figure out where is Jack's place? Where's Cooper's place? Where's Amos's place? That for me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's so true. My encouragement is to find other people living a similar life. I didn't do that for a long time. One, because I couldn't find them. And two, I wanted to keep living, I think, my pre-autism life. I wanted my friends from high school, and I wanted, all these different parts, but I feel like we outgrew so many parts. We just didn't fit anymore. And so while I still have amazing friendships with my high school friends and work colleagues, and I have this whole new group of people that are living this autism life or disability life, whatever it may be. And what I love about it is we just laugh and get each other, and we can say, I can't do this anymore, and I give up, and I'm dropping them at the fire station, and of course they'll give them back. We can just laugh, and people
Right.
get it. We don't have to justify. Do you feel like
And accept, own your feelings, like laugh.
Yeah.
I might call Kate or Carrie and be like, well, I'm crying, I had to get Amos out of the car, but by like just bleh, then I'm okay, and so don't sit there alone. Early on in the journey, I was just filled with this terrible fear of like, what is this going to look like? I mean, I was suffocating, and I started writing really to save myself, and realized it brought joy. This joy came back. And so I just would encourage anyone when they say, well, I'm kind of private. I'm just telling you, like, it's going to help you. So share.
Yeah. And that could be with a mom at the pickup line, or
Yeah.
the
The
cashier
grocery
at
store.
Target who's like, my nephew has autism. I mean, everyone has someone. But yeah,
Right.
just by talking about it, it doesn't own you. Okay, we're gonna do this fun rapid fire 15 questions. So who wants to go first?
I mean, I can go. It doesn't matter to me.
Carrie, you're first.
Okay.
Where were you born?
Putnam County in New York.
What was your first job?
I was a babysitter for a long time in high school.
What is the one thing you need to have in your fridge at all times?
Cottage cheese.
Who is the most interesting person you met recently?
I was on a plane recently and sat next to a geneticist, and he was fascinating because he had just found out that morning that his wife was pregnant, and I was the first person he told.
Oh,
What is your biggest pet peeve?
Gosh, I guess people who are cheap.
What is your favorite hobby?
I love running and I love reading.
What is your guilty pleasure TV show?
There was a TV show a while ago, reality show, not Sister Wives, but another one about like adding a wife to your family. And I ate that up. I loved it.
What is your guilty pleasure junk food?
Oh, I'd have to say, I don't know, Chipotle, I guess.
So good.
I
What
know.
is your pet's name?
Wolfie.
What is your favorite song?
East Side of Sorrow by Zach Bryan.
Oh, good song. Favorite children's book from your childhood?
Well, I was a big reader as a kid, but I was very into like The Secret Garden was huge for me. I loved Nancy Drew. I loved, if we're talking much younger, I loved Ramona Quimby. All of those.
Meat. Ooh. Oh, so good.
Where is the most exciting place your job has taken you?
Well, I guess Jamaica.
Oh, yeah. Where do you want to go that you've never been?
I would love to go to Greece.
That's mine. Yes. What is your favorite color?
Blue, turquoise.
Would you rather have a year-long winter or a year-long summer?
Well,
Is that
I'm New
real?
Hampshire, so year-long summer.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask you, Kate. Now, this time we have 60 seconds.
Well, it takes longer than that just to say the sentences.
Well, I'm going to spit them at you, and you're going to say them quickly.
Okay.
Where were you born?
Duluth, Minnesota.
What was your first job?
I worked at a wildlife educational park picking up poop.
What do you keep in your fridge?
Pickles.
Who's the most interesting person you've met recently?
I don't know that one. Skip.
Adrian.
Adrian, Carrie.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
Children driving me crazy when I'm trying to work.
Favorite hobby?
Hiking.
Guilty pleasure TV show?
Gossip Girl. I'm watching it right now.
Guilty pleasure junk food?
Anything chocolate.
Golden retriever's name?
Tanker booze.
Favorite song?
George Strait, Amarillo by Morning.
Favorite children's book from
I
childhood?
think it's Little House on the Prairie.
So good.
So good.
Most exciting place your job has taken you?
Jamaica.
Where do you want to go that you've never been?
Greece.
Greece. What's your favorite color?
Yellow.
Winter or summer?
Summer.
I know. Is that even like a real question? Okay. Do you want to ask them or do you want me just to say what they are?
I want to know, was that a minute? Because her first job answer was like 30 seconds long.
I know.
But it's too cool. I seriously used to feed bears and wolves and stuff.
And I'm changing mine to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Ooh, also good.
Well, I've never seen those.
Okay, Adrian, where were you born?
Rocky Mount, North Carolina.
What was your first job?
Roller skating on a boardwalk.
Why?
You got paid to do
Well,
that?
Yes, I got paid $5 an hour, and it was cash under the table, and I roller skated around, and I handed out menus for the Ice House restaurant.
Oh, cute.
Fun.
That's very
Well, it
fun.
was cute until the old men like started leaving mixtapes in my cars by like with violent film songs. Yeah, that's not good.
And by old, were they like 21? Or were
I
they
know.
No, they were probably like late 40s.
Okay.
So old.
What is the
But
one
when
thing you
you're
need to have in your
16, it's
fridge at all
inappropriate.
times? I didn't
Cheese
get that.
sticks.
Cheese sticks. Who is the most interesting person you met recently? That's hard.
Oh, a woman that I'm with this week. I really enjoyed her. Yeah.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
Pet peeve. My husband not getting things at the grocery store and then telling me they were out of them.
Poor Thomas. What is your favorite hobby?
Wallowing
That's true. In the bed.
in the bed.
What is your guilty pleasure TV show?
Oh, Dateline.
Oh,
What is your guilty pleasure junk food?
Well, I didn't know Chipotle was junk food.
oh,
So
I consider it
um,
healthy.
I did. Maybe Oreos.
I'm so hungry. What is your pet's name?
Honor, Alley, and Tiptoe.
Oh yeah. Okay. What is your favorite song?
I have no idea.
I just said mine last night. That's why I knew mine. I actually
Yeah, I
texted
have
my friend.
absolutely. I mean, I like a lot of music. Yeah, I love yacht rock.
I don't know what that is.
it's like
Okay.
a
Like Hall and
Spotify.
Oates. Like your kiss, your kiss.
Okay. What is your favorite children's book?
This is way more than a minute. I'm just saying.
Caddy Woodlawn.
Oh, great book.
Wait, what book?
Caddy
Caddy
Woodlawn.
Woodlawn. You would
I've read
love
that
it,
book
Carrie. You've
100
got to go read
times.
it right now.
Oh,
I probably have
never
it.
heard of it.
Where is the most exciting place your job has taken you?
Jamaica.
Look at that. Where do you want to go that you've never been?
Dubai.
Oh,
What is your favorite color?
Blue.
And I'm just going to pick that Adrian wants a year-long winter.
Negative Ghost Rider. No way, Jose.
I would take a year-long fall.
oh yes.
Here. Okay. Adrian, do you want to wrap us up and remind people what they can get for 15% off?
Yes, I do. So you go to signedoutloud.com, get 15% off your autographed editions today, but only with the code LOUD15. That is LOUD 15 throughout the show. For every book purchase on Premiere, $5 will be donated to Autism Speaks. So we are just thrilled with this partnership, and signedoutloud.com, loud15, 15% off. Autographed book by all three of us.
Yay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Always a pleasure.